And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. This is Brian. I'm here with Allison, and this is Maintaining Frame number 21.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I guess we've the title's changed a little bit, but how Heard versus Depp. So Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp is now it's Gamergate, according to Vox.
Who knew, eh? It's like the next Gamergate.
I knew.
Who called that one?
I knew.
Who called it? Your bingo card.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've read this article, so I'm not going to give anyone any spoiler. Well, I guess we'll spoil it as we read it, but I'm not going to give Brian any spoilers. But
yeah, I don't know what's in it, but I have an idea.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Well, I can tell you what's not in it. Evidence.
Of course.
I hope that doesn't come as a surprise to anyone. No
rational
evidence.
Arguments. Yeah.
But the basic thesis is that, once again, all of the pushback that we're seeing towards Amber Heard is the result of nefarious misogynist forces from the deepest webs, and just like Gamergate. So there you go.
Evil deep webbers. The dark. Yeah, remember that episode? They did that episode on Gamergate in that show. Why am I blanking on it? Law and Order SVU, I think.
Yes.
And they put like one of the Paul brothers, I think it was Logan Paul, in there as like the main antagonist, and it was just like, it was so awful. And they were just connecting everything, like terrorism, everything, to like Gamergate. They didn't call it Gamergate, but and then there was where all of this like hate came from, and they called it the dark net, or the deep net. No, it's the dark net. It's the dark net, because they didn't want to say deep web, because the deep web is a real place that you need a special way to get into so that you can, like, I don't know, like buy people or whatever it is they do on there. But they had to make something else up. Yeah, like but they're slaves, But like yeah, but like they made something else up. They called it the deep
no, it was I think it was the dark web.
The dark net, yes, which is the evil net. It sounds like the net that Skeletor surfs on. Like
it's the net we come from, Brian.
Yeah, it's where we've crawled.
Sea creatures as we were. I just want to say, for anyone who's joining us and who doesn't know what we're about, or has heard about men's rights activists for the very first time, yes, we are those creatures that are mentioned in this article. Which just leads me to say, what do you think men's rights is? It's just advocating for the rights of men in such areas as domestic and sexual abuse victims, as victims of false accusations, which is very pertinent to the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial, yes, which we actually covered 6 years ago, and also came to the conclusion that there was something fishy going on, and it was looking like more like Johnny Depp was railroaded than was actually an abuser, and that Amber Heard was indeed the abuser. So what else? We also deal with bodily autonomy issues for men, like conscription, like circumcision, going into like parental rights, both rights to have access to their children, as well as the right to separate consent to sex from consent to parenthood. Some people lie on one side of that issue, other people lie on the other side of that issue, but generally we just want equal rights in that instance between men and women. So yeah, that's sort of what we're about. But if you listen to the media, we are very much like some sort of tentacled.
We're extremely dangerous.
Yeah,
extremely dangerous.
Extremely.
Yeah.
To the back.
We're basically terrorists that answer directly to Elon Musk or Donald Trump or whoever it is that we're supposed to hate right now. Putin?
Yeah, whoever it is become the next linchpin of the evil ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Voldemort / Sauron.
I wish I worked for Elon Musk. He probably takes good care of his people. Not that Allison doesn't. Not saying that.
I was gonna say,
No, I don't.
No, I'm working for him too.
Yeah,
I don't know what he used me for though.
Well, he gives us stock options. I mean, I hear good things, but anyway, so yeah, being that we are like among the most hated people on the internet, all of the stuff that's going on, you know, with the way that the Depp Heard trial is being covered to pretty much like many other instances, such as, you know, if you saw the treatment of Brett Kavanaugh, the treatment of who else was like accused or demonized, Clarence Thomas, like many years ago, was falsely accused, and you know, we speak up on that, but we're the wrong kind of people that should be speaking up, which is why we are the enemy, which is why MRAs get, well, we used to get slandered all the time, but they have found like, you know, targets that they like more lately. But but one of the ways that they slander them is to lump them in with us. So
yeah, but now they're lumping everybody who's pro Johnny Depp in with us, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting company, but you know, welcome. We believe in evidence, and we believe in looking at the evidence, and we don't believe in actually not taking anything away from women, but just making sure that men have access to services and justice too. That's pretty much where we're at. Yep. Pretty scary. Let's okay, before we do that, I'll get some business done. We are doing our monthly fundraiser to make sure that we can support Brian, Prim when when she gets back from taking time off to
raise her second newborn baby. Yeah, she's
raise her second baby. And Hannah. So their work for the month, please go to feedthebadger.com/project/badger-media-blitz, or you can go to feedthebadger.com, and I believe the pop-up now directs you to the monthly fundraiser, but I'd have to double check on that. And or if you want to send us a comment free of censorship and also exorbitant fees, because YouTube now takes 50%, please go to feedthebadger.com/justtip, and the whatever you say will come directly to us, and we will read it out, and we will get the full benefit of whatever amount that you want to give us. You can also send us messages at any time, even after the stream is over, if you want to comment in something in particular, and we will endeavor to read it on the next stream. So with that out of the way.
All right, we're going to get into this article. We're going to jump.
Yeah. So we should just do a series on how the media has presented this.
We could be doing this for years. Like, I mean, honestly, I'm waiting for has a Vice article been written yet? Because those guys are always trying to top the other ones in terms of their hot take generation or their hot take generators.
Pop us the Vice article if you guys find one.
Yeah, there's a Vice article. Tell us about it.
You can feel it, right? You can feel it. It's like,
I know it's there. I haven't gone to the website, but I know it's there.
It's brewing. It's brewing.
Yeah.
Just like Amber Heard's latest marital gift. Soon it shall emerge.
Speaking of which, I saw this parody video, and I'm sad because I really wanted it to be a real video, but it wasn't. Somebody took clips of from the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial and did some editing wizardry and made it look as though Jason Momoa. Do you know Jason Momoa? He's the actor who plays Aquaman, and he starred alongside Amber Heard. Yeah, they made it look as though Jason Momoa was testifying, and he was talking about how like he and Amber were in the pool doing a shoot for Aquaman, and that she basically shit in the pool, and it was so funny. I mean, like it was so absurd that I thought this could be a real clip. Like I fell for it for like a little while, but I was like, yeah, these people sound a little off, you know. But and I wanted it to be real. I know, because you know, the reason why I wanted to be real is because the way that they framed Momoa's behavior made it seem like something he could have been capable of doing, which made me think, well, this guy is kind of a bro, but I don't know if that really happened. So I'm not going to say anything, but it was really funny. I'm sure that you guys have come across it on the internet. But it's not real.
I haven't seen it yet, but it sounds like it would be a lot of fun to look at.
Don't be taken in like I was. It's not real, but it's funny, and that's what really matters.
Have you seen the pictures of like Musk with Amber Heard and he's bruised?
No, I haven't.
That's really interesting.
Oh wow, yeah, I don't know. Maybe
she is a serial abuser. I mean, judging from what from the tapes and also from her previous arrest record. So I wouldn't be surprised if
I wouldn't either.
Wallop Musk too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. I think because I know that she dated Elon Musk for a while, and a lot of people. I just saw a video today about Musk because he's in hot water for a number of reasons. We're going to talk about that on the news show tomorrow. But like I was the people who were commenting were saying, wow, Elon Musk seems really red-pilled now, and what's funny is my first thought was, well, I wonder if what red-pilled him was a relationship with Amber Heard. So, like, because I mean, like,
clothes with Amber Heard to like all the men, who are in the levers of power.
The reason why I think that is though that men could, or people in general, could be exposed to something that harms them, that then puts them on this like path of self-discovery or whatever that leads them to learn, oh shit, I was wrong about all these things regarding reality. And a lot of times people think that comes from maybe you get censored online, maybe you have like some bad experiences with bad political actors and they try to destroy your reputation. But I don't know if it's quite as potent as an abusive woman. And that's why I was wondering about that. Again, I don't know. I'm not even convinced that he's necessarily red-pilled, but as a subject, I think it's interesting to think about. Amber Heard could have done it. It sometimes, it takes great suffering for someone to be shaken. Yeah, to shake someone, yes, from their stupor. So
to be honest, like Vox talks a lot. Places like Vox and Vogue talk a lot about how we are the ones who are red pilling people or pulling them to the side, and that's not the case at all. It's trauma caused by situations that Johnny Depp has gone through, like Elon Musk may have gone through but doesn't want to talk about. These kinds of things are what red pill men and women who care about them, not us. We just talk about the greater context of it. And also for anybody who's joining in doesn't know what Gamergate is, quite simply, gamers were tired of gaming press lying to them about games in order to sell their pet projects, and they rebelled. And then the gaming press, and then the mainstream press rallied to slander them as a bunch of the usual bears and tigers and lions, oh my, what misogynists, transphobes, and racists, oh my. That's generally, although at that time, it's 6 years ago, I didn't think
it was mostly. The trans thing was homophobia.
It was homophobia, yeah. So it was racist, homophobia, homophobes, and misogynists. Oh my! The trans thing has started to come out more now.
It's taking over.
It's taking over. Which Godspeed, my trans sisters. Take over everything.
No, I mean like it's taking over the LGBT. Like as a category, it's just the T now, or mostly the T, because like the other stuff doesn't seem to have the impact. That's what I mean by it.
No, it doesn't. Well, it doesn't have the controversy.
No, it doesn't.
Or the energy.
No, because I mean like the gay thing is they're still just men. So what was I going to say? So Gamergate is, and it was really just, a consumer revolt. They were angry at the press. They spoke up. They made fun of them. They memed on them. And the press said, you can't be allowed to do that because the one thing that these people despise more than anything is ridicule. This is why ridicule is the finest weapon the absolute best weapon against them. Elon Musk shared one. I'm not gonna dig it up now, but I thought it was great because I'd seen this meme going around. He literally shared this meme. It was basically do you guys know that meme where it's like Lisa Simpson and she's in front of like a movie screen? You know, like a projector screen. And it was that, but Lisa Simpson, instead of Lisa Simpson, it's a picture of Skeletor, and he's pointing at the screen, and on the screen it says, ladies, mansplaining is short for man explaining. So like, he's literally like making fun of feminist talking points. And he doesn't care, and I think it's hilarious because I love that meme. I've seen it around, and I think it's great. So yeah, it's just and Musk knows that, you know, if you make fun of these people, it pisses them off. Like it's the greatest weapon. So, you know, get your memes ready, guys. We're gonna need them.
Man, the meme cannons.
Yes. Prepare the memes if you have any. And by the way, feel free to join our community on Discord. We have a meme bunker where you can load up multiple memes, and I go through them sometimes and like pick out the ones that I think are
the very best, the finest of memes,
the dankest, and I will share them on my social media because I love a good meme. So okay,
okay, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Okay. All right. If you want to send us a message, once again, feedthebadger.com/justthetip. All right, let's do it.
Yes. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the article. I will check on your super chats at the half-hour mark to see if anybody sent anything through.
Watch how my face, like I slowly the smile goes away, and I just start to go like
the rage start. Yeah, you start.
The rage rises.
Start turning into a werewolf. So why the Depp Heard trial is so much worse than you realize from Vox.
All right.
Remember now, there was the guy who used to work at Vox. He's the reason for the adpocalypse, I think. I forget the guy's name, but there was a guy who worked at Vox, and he basically like got everyone on YouTube demonetized because he felt picked on because people were ridiculing him. Exactly. See, this goes back to what I was saying before.
It is like it has nothing to do with any higher morality than they just don't like being mocked.
Well, they don't like being mocked because they're insecure. They're insecure narcissists. Okay, so Amber Heard is just the first target of a new extremist playbook by Asia Romano. Okay.
Oh wait, I've heard about Asia Romano. Seems familiar.
Aja. Yeah. I don't. You know what? That does sound familiar now that you mention it.
I wonder if this is like a creature from the past.
Yeah, I think she might be like a ghost of misogyny past. Gamers past. Yeah. All right. Around the third or fourth time I logged into Twitter to find hashtag Amber Heard is a psychopath at the top of the trending list. Maybe she is. I realized that there was no longer any pretending that the Depp Heard defamation trial was not a terrible, foreboding reflection of our culture's worst impulses. The media has covered
Wait.
Okay. No, it's
all
okay.
right. So if the hashtag Johnny Depp is a psychopath was trending, would you say
was
that?
It?
No.
Oh yeah.
No, it wasn't trending. But if it was, do you think this person would say, "Oh, this is a reflection of the horrible"? No. And honestly, it isn't. And I wouldn't even say that as a men's rights activist because that's a specific man. He could be a psycho. To buy into her framework, you have to believe that estrogen makes psychopathy impossible.
Yeah.
Or actually, that might be transphobic. Identifying as a woman makes psychopathy impossible. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They are saying one woman is a sociopath. Unless you believe that is impossible, then there's nothing to be gained, nothing to be gleaned from the fact that they're calling one woman a sociopath. There's nothing like I don't feel a kinship with Amber Heard. I don't think that if people call Amber Heard a sociopath, they're calling me a sociopath because I'm a woman and I happen to share a hormonal profile with this individual. Like, why would I? It's absurd. It's ridiculous. Women exist on a moral spectrum. I guess that's the real problem for Vox. Recognizing that,
Yeah.
gender exists on a spectrum, but morality is black and white.
Yeah.
Man bad, woman good. And yet gender still exists on a spectrum, yet man bad, woman good. Okay. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Square that.
Okay.
Square it.
The media has covered the degree to which this trial has served as a referendum on the Me Too movement and a siren call to domestic abusers.
What?
I see. So they're dog whistling to wife beaters, but what they mean by that is men. They're dog whistling to wife beater men because of people's opinions on this particular trial. And of course, this is going to harm the Me Too movement, which is more important. It's more important to protect the reputation of the Me Too movement than it is to, I don't know, see justice be done in a fair way, maybe punish someone for being a liar.
Well, the article in question seems to be arguing that the fact that Johnny Depp is able to pursue this defamation lawsuit is as additional abuse against Amber.
Right. Of course. The ability to get justice is itself abuse.
Literally, these individuals who advocate this want a completely one-sided justice system.
Yep.
So a woman can go into a courtroom, say whatever she wants as a man about a man, have it believed, have him summarily done away with. I don't know what that would mean in the future, like maybe execution, immediately depersoned, and all of his assets belong to her for anything. And now it's starting to sound like women are being, the advocacy of this is going to, women can do this to a man for saying the word pet, for calling them a pet. Saying, hey, pet, thank you for the coffee. Which, how this is something that happened in the UK. You know how the British are? They say love and pet and honey, and they're like the Southerners. They're constantly saying that, both male and female, to men and women, And a man, a coach, I believe in the UK, is now in jail because he called 2 waitresses pet. Like, there's no proportionality anymore. And it's this drive towards a one-sided justice system in which women can get men jailed, can get their assets appropriated, get them removed from their career on an allegation alone, with the presumption that no woman ever will lie. And incentivizing it more and more and more. That's the other thing. Giving women not just control over men, but money for doing this. Incentivizing this behavior and just insisting that, oh yeah, women won't do any wrong with it. Are you crazy? And simultaneous with that, justifying every time a woman does it, a whole team of people bring up a narrative to justify what she's done and turn her into the morally righteous actor. I mean, this is what constructs Amber Heard's. And now they're complaining that Depp has any means in his disposal to fight back. Because all he's done with this defamation trial, like, it's hit and miss. He's going to win this, guys. Like, for anybody who's tuning in, it's like, oh, is he? No, he probably won't win it because defamation is hard to prove. But this has given him the opportunity to get his side into the public eye. That's what they're really complaining about. That a man is able, and only the top, like 1/10% of men is even capable of this. A man is able to even get his story into the public eye. That's what they're complaining about. Isn't that freaking astounding? Like, she's controlled the narrative for the last 6 years. He's had to claw back and use all of his resources to get his story into the public eye. Any man without Depp's charm or fame or wealth would be totally hooped if they were hit by an Amber Heard speed bump in their life. They'd have no recourse. So this man, who's the top of the top of the top, has recourse, and all he's doing is getting the evidence before the public. It's probably all he wanted to do with this defamation trial, and they're still upset with it and saying, that's a man who's abusing his abuse victim even more. Really? Just getting this stuff out in front of the public. That's all that's it. This is a seriously sick system. And it starts with the mainstream media or the corporate media.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
There. You see my smile's completely gone.
Yeah, well, this article is infuriating.
It starts off hard. It starts off bad. It gets worse.
Oh, I'm sure it does. All right, so the narrative of the trial. So now the trial is telling a story. It's not like a series of events with evidence and
this is our
hearings
justice
and such.
System. Yeah. We are watching plain justice happen. Like, we are watching the process of discovery. We are watching the legal process, and you are calling that a narrative?
Everything is a narrative to these people.
Does Vox have to call that a narrative?
They're trying to control.
Right. Everything is a
everything is a narrative in the way that they build it, and it's the one that's real is the one that they like the most, and hopefully they can. Yeah, it suits them, and hopefully they can get the majority of people to also agree with it, which then makes it real. That's literally how they see it. That's why they're calling it a narrative. They're essentially saying, well, in your opinion, all of the evidence points this way. Like, that's your point of view, but my point of view is different. So
that's the freaking evidence.
Yeah.
And this is the hilarious thing about all of this. When you take a system and you divorce it from evidence, it does not protect women, female victims. Because for some reason, even if you think you are creating a system that provides exclusive benefit to women, for some reason, if a system does not focus on the evidence, does not make itself efficient in finding out what the evidence means, sociopaths, both male and female, can exploit that no ends. That's what I have seen.
Yeah.
So if you really want to help female victims, you create a system that focuses like a laser on the evidence, the facts, ma'am, just the facts, getting to the root of what's going on, making sure the ducks are in line, and not biased emotionally towards one particular group or another. That's the system we should be trying to get towards, because that is the system that's going to protect all victims the most. That is female victims of domestic violence, male victims of domestic violence, male victims of false accusations, female victims of false accusations. All of these people will be protected by a system that is what is the right word? That is primed, that prioritizes evidence. That is, I'm blanking on the right word, but
I know what you mean. It's essentially
that puts evidence center and first.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. But again, I don't think that the people, like the person who wrote this article, actually care about those things. The narrative is about preserving their position in the conversation. Yeah. It's about maintaining their moral superiority. It's not about female victims or male victims. They don't care about that. They'll say it. They'll give lip service to female victims, but they don't actually care. Yeah, because they need them. And they know that we have a bias to want to protect women, and they're just exploiting it to make themselves sound morally superior, but they don't really care about this stuff. So
yeah, I mean, you can't solve any problem, but you cannot solve domestic violence without looking at male victims. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't make it any better. You can't reduce the rate of female victimhood. You just can't. Not without looking at all of the data.
Yeah, and you
understanding
can't,
the phenomena.
Right. I mean, if you want to solve a problem, you have to look at what is true. That's it. There's no other way. So, and these people don't want to look at what's true because they don't actually want to solve the problem. And there's no other excuse for it. Like, you're either stupid, which I don't believe. I don't believe these people are dumb. I know a lot of people make arguments that, feminists are dumb. I don't believe they're dumb. But they're either dumb or they're lying on purpose. That's it. Like, I can't think of a third option. You're either dumb, which means you don't have all the info, which means you don't have the self-awareness and humility to say, you know what, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But instead, they're certain they do. So they're either too dumb to realize that they're wrong because they haven't looked into it and they're just accepting what they're told or whatever, or they're intentionally being dishonest, which I'm inclined to believe the latter personally, because I don't think of myself as a particularly like I don't think of myself as having a genius intellect or access to all kinds of info. I don't have a lot of connections. I don't have those things. And yet, when I learn that there is an allegation or a case, I look into it to try to determine, if I'm even like inclined to understand it better, to see if I can't like conclude what the truth is and look at the evidence as it's presented without making any assumptions. And I'm usually right. So that, and again, I don't think I'm special or gifted. So this means that the person who wrote this article, they didn't even bother to try. They're just like, I don't really care what the truth is. I need to promote the Me Too movement and feminism and all of Vox's values. And I'm going to use every tool at my disposal to do it, including pretending like nobody cares about women while also demanding that people care about women. And they do it. Right? They do it. So I mean, they're not dumb.
It's even more than demanding that people care about women. It's demanding that they prove they care about women by believing whatever Vox says.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't believe what we say, you don't care about women. It's so difficult for a lot of people to see through that. It's like, that's just a sales pitch. I mean, you see through like sales pitches all the time, and you realize it's con artistry. When somebody goes to you and says, you need to do something or you don't care about women, they're manipulating you. And then caring about women is irrelevant. They're using the fact that everybody cares about women. Everybody cares about women. Unless you are seriously deranged.
It's our default setting.
It's our default setting. We care about women. They're using that to manipulate you to do what they want you to do, regardless of it, whether or not it benefits women, and often doesn't. It's just a manipulative tactic. All right, let's can I do the next one?
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, I have a use. The narrative of the trial has been shaped in part by what appears to be, according to multiple researchers, an army of bots spreading rhetoric favorable to Depp.
Bots? No. Wait. Are they saying like actual artificial intelligence, or are they simply calling the Depp supporters?
They're citing
a Medium article? A Medium blog? How I spent my summer vacation arguing with bots on Twitter. All right. Well, anyway, I'm sorry. Go on. Yeah, I'm sure the bots are out there protecting Depp. I'm sure that Twitter made bots specifically to protect Depp and also follow Joe Biden. Go ahead, Alison.
I don't.
What?
Okay. No, this is just this looks like it's pure conjecture. All right. One researcher found more bots favorable to Heard, but said most of these bots were from third-party apps trying to capitalize on the trend. Meanwhile, they found the highest pro-Depp bot post was shared nearly 20,000 times. The work of these bots has been further amplified by men's rights activists. You mean us?
We're at it again. I have released bots into your Twitter sphere. Now you'll never know the truth.
Are you freaking out? Who are you calling men's rights activists now?
We're just like, yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, like literally everybody. I swear to God, these individuals on this side of a particular persuasion are going to end up, and they're going to be in like a room with two of them, and everybody else outside that room is a freaking men's rights activist. Like there's just going to be two people in the world who aren't, and the one is accusing the other of being a men's rights activist. That's where this is headed, because literally everybody's a men's rights activist. Well, sorry, everybody who supports Depp is a men's rights activist now.
Yep, or even people who are like, oh, you know what, I've been exposed to new info. I originally believed Amber Heard, and now I'm not so sure. Like, not even taking a side. I've seen plenty of like, fence sitters, but they're all MRAs now. You win against the narrative.
Yeah, congratulations.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, welcome. I'm not quite sure what to say. It's a very small house, but
also enormous.
You're welcome to the
because
tap water.
Yeah, right. It's also enormous because we are, the majority. We're all the bots. Because we've created
society. We control all of society that they don't.
We're the ones that make NPCs with our narratives.
With the fly, my bots, fly. Oh God. Oh man, like we have the money to bot army. Are you guys part of the far right leading extremist manosphere? Okay. What else do we do, Brian?
All the bad things, Alison. Let's make a list of bad things. We are all about those.
Okay, this is also from Vox. The movement's many online communities prey on male insecurity to advance a racist...
Yeah, is that the link from the far right leaning extremist manosphere? What it links to?
Yeah. How alt-right sexism lures men into white supremacy. So they're talking about us. The movement's many online communities, like ours, which you can access at badgernation.online. The movement's many online communities prey on male insecurity to advance a racist political agenda.
These people are so ridiculous. I mean, I know that Brian, they're pulling out. And look, if your links are if your links go to other articles that your website produced, we're gonna reference ourselves. That's how you know this is true. Or we're gonna reference a fucking Medium blog. It seems like you're reaching a bit. You're reaching.
You are
just a little bit,
my friend.
Yeah,
just
a little bit.
Okay,
just a little bit.
Okay, right. The part of the far right leaning extremist manosphere. I think that's us.
That's
that
us.
seems
to
have decided discrediting Amber Heard. We are the misogynists, the misogyraconists in question. That seems to have decided discrediting Amber Heard is the key to destroying every woman who accuses men of abuse or domestic violence. Okay, let's unpack that a bit. It's actually been great to see people care about the issue of domestic violence against men. Do I think that destroying Amber Heard or discrediting Amber Heard has brought a lot of attention to the issue of male victims of domestic violence? Yes, I do. And I welcome that. Because I hope that male victims of domestic violence get more of a voice. I'm just a bastard, aren't I?
Yes, you are. I just want to point out that the framing of this, they say, seems to have decided discrediting Amber Heard is the key to destroying every woman who accuses men of abuse or domestic violence. No one's discrediting Amber Heard except Amber Heard because she apparently appears to have been lying, and I'm only saying appears to because the trial's not over, so we don't know if there'll be some sudden at the 11th hour surprise witness. I have something to say. Like maybe that'll happen. I don't expect it, but it might. It is so dramatic that I feel like that could happen and it wouldn't surprise me. But I'm going to go with what we know right now. The only person who's discrediting Amber Heard is Amber Heard. And so when but why is Vox framing it this way? Because they're trying to make Amber Heard appear as though she is a passive, agentless victim of people's opinions online. And that she should not have been allowed to make an allegation to begin with, because that's what they're saying. Any woman that dares step forward and speak her truth will be shut down because of what's happening in this trial. Well, not if they're not lying. But if we took Amber Heard seriously when I thought it was fishy, but when this first broke, most people were like, oh yeah, that seems legit. And it's because of our tendency to simply believe women. That's why we have due process. Because otherwise you're basically saying we should bring back witch hunts and lynchings. Why not?
Well, mostly lynching.
Yeah.
And it was mostly women that accused other women.
Yeah, it was mostly women that accused other women of being witches, right? Because, they wanted they wanted their property, or they had a disagreement or whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And lynching also like there wasn't just black men who faced lynching. It was a lot of different men from marginalized groups or immigrants, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, next paragraph.
Okay, so go ahead.
Conservative media outlets have also promoted a one-sided narrative of the case.
Oh, Vice. Oh shit, Vice did.
No, conservative media outlets have promoted a one-sided narrative.
I know. I actually think that the conservative media. I was gonna say that's why I said Vice reported something.
Mm-hmm. That's where it be.
Yeah, so Vice, here's the article. The Daily Wire spent thousands of dollars promoting anti-Amber Heard propaganda. But to be honest, and of course these people are going to frame it as extreme as they can, I think the conservative media outlets that have talked about this have been extremely cowardice. They have been really cowardly, in that they've been doing this on both sides. Why do you care about this? Kind of perspective. I mean, some haven't. Celebrities. They're just celebrity scumbags from Hollywood. Why do you care? And it's like not seeing the bigger picture. Like this Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing isn't really about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. It's shattering a narrative. This is why Vox and Vogue and all of these feminist outlets are completely losing their minds, because they're losing control over the narrative that is what is domestic violence, right? That's the central narrative. And do you remember when Cassie J made her documentary and she went to Ms. Magazine and she spoke to, I think it was the editor-in-chief or something, and they talked about domestic violence, and the editor-in-chief of Ms. Magazine, which is like essentially the premier feminist magazine, said that domestic violence is really just wife beating. It is a man beating a woman. That's how she framed it. She says we shouldn't even use the term domestic violence because that implies that there could be cases where the reverse happens, or that, same-sex couples might have these problems. And the fact is, it's wife beating. And that's how she framed it. And this is important to note because they're trying to preserve an idea about domestic violence. They want someone to say, so-and-so, Johnny Depp in this particular case, beat his wife. And everyone simply just responds to the programming and says, yes, this happens. Men beat their women and it's terrible because men are terrible. And so we don't actually investigate to see if there's more to it, because they're preserving this narrative, as they describe it, which is that...
And they're institutionalizing it.
Yes. And they put it into law. They put it into policy. It's what the Duluth model is. All of these things come from that primary emotionally charged narrative that domestic violence is something that a man does to a woman, full stop, period. And if a woman is violent towards a man, they try to pivot and say, well, what made her do that? Like, women wouldn't do that. He must have been beating her too.
Even it's preemptive violence.
Yeah, she's protecting herself.
By initiating violence.
Yes. And you think that this is, again, absurd, and we wouldn't go along with it, but we do. And we have for decades. We've simply accepted this. So this Depp thing it goes back to what I was saying before. It's dangerous because it blows that away. And what will come after that is that people will start going, why do we have the Duluth model? Why do we use this? To see the Johnny Depp thing hurts that. And the Duluth model, God, it's how many, I guess, politicians or advocates have used the Duluth model to destroy men's lives? Can you even come up with a number? No, like innocent men. Yeah.
Yeah, men you don't even hear about because they don't have the resources of.
Yeah. You're breaking up.
That's what's really hilarious. They're trying to frame this as the system benefiting Johnny Depp. Well, yes, insofar as being charming, having wealth and fame allows him some kind of a voice. He's able to actually stand up and speak back. But the system so empowers women that it takes this much, women and sociopaths, that it takes this much for a man to even be able to preserve any kind of a voice in the face of all of the forces arrayed against him. And unfortunately for those people who are like, oh, you're talking about feminists, feminism is almost always behind this. So we have this ideal of feminism as being about equality. Well, the actual feminists who are doing work behind the scenes use the ideal of feminists to cloak themselves and the work that they're doing. They don't care about equality except insofar as they can frame women as being victims. And which means they don't care about equality at all.
Yep.
So it's really hard to go into this and know every single time that you've looked into all of the distortions of facts, all of the distortions of policy against male victims, and there's a feminist group behind it, and then have to listen to, but you're just as bad, or but you know, feminism is good. And it's like, oh, then why is almost everything that we have to deal with in terms of advocating for male victims, not just male victims, but men's right to just have their own identity without having it maligned as toxic? Like, why is it that we're always at the end of all of our problems is feminism, and then on the other hand, it's conservatives who just don't care? It's like feminism is their goblin, to be honest. And I won't deny the connection between the two. But anyway, that's getting a little. Let's go back because we got one.
Okay, I got some super chat.
I also got
things.
some Superchows, but I just want to read this one set and make a statement.
Yeah. Let's finish the
conservative media outlets have also promoted a one-side narrative of the case. Okay, my dear Aja, you may notice that the conservative media outlet that you're talking about has this like wood panel room, and there's a woman in a black robe in front with gravel, and then beside her there's a bunch of witnesses that keep getting called up. And then on the other side, the two sides, there's like a lawyer's team that's by Amber, and there's a lawyer team by Depp, and then there's people over here that constitute a jury, and then there's some witnesses. That isn't a conservative media outlet. That's a courtroom.
Yep.
You seem to be misunderstanding. And if the courtroom is showing what seems to be a one-sided narrative, it's because that's what it is. The evidence is profoundly one-sided. All right, Vice, this is where they come in. This is where Vice comes in, of course. Vice recently reported that Ben Shapiro's popular conservative news platform, The Daily Wire, has spent nearly $50,000 promoting ads about the trial on Instagram and Facebook. Ben Shapiro is not a men's rights activist. Like, it's great that you're calling everybody and their dog a men's rights activist.
It's good for us, yeah.
It's good for us. Like, at the very least, it gives us a wide amount of space to operate in.
Yeah, maybe
and it's starting to take the stigma out of being a men's rights activist too. You know, like, since everybody is.
Yeah.
But I don't think Ben Shapiro really calls himself that. Neither do I think he should. You know, like, I'm not going to go out there and
I think we're going to. Yeah, we'll have a sticking point with Ben. That's for sure, because he's like
lots of them.
Totally for circumcision for a start. So,
yes.
But
so he spent nearly $50,000 promoting ads about the trial on Instagram and Facebook. Most of it trashing Amber Heard. He's probably just getting attention for his opinion on the trial. The presence of these bad actors has, if anything, vitriol is received within the mainstream. No. You can't call something the far right and then say it's advocating for the mainstream. No.
Yeah, of course.
Don't be silly.
But I think Vox lives in a strange bubble. Your microphone is breaking up a little. Are you using the right one? Yeah, it was a little bit.
I am using the right one. Again, still.
Right. Maybe just move it closer. Well, a little, but it's not too bad. I'll let you know if it happens again.
Let me see if I can. Well, actually, you know what? Let me check to make sure that this is. This is so crazy.
No, it just cuts out a bit, and it might be because you're far away from your microphone. You probably have to, like Joe Rogan said, to get in there, like get real intimate.
Maybe it's my squeaky woman voice.
It might be. Yeah, like it's
the microphone is biased against my squeaky women voice.
We got to do this like this is NPR.
This is
up next,
Badger ASMR. Let me find some tinfoil. I'll crinkle it for you guys.
Oh no! Don't do that. No.
Okay. I guess I just have to be calmer because I think I'd probably. All right. Well, you better do a sound check or a levels check, eh?
Yeah. No, it looks good. For me. I mean, I.
All right.
Yeah, we're good.
I guess you guys won't be seeing me anymore, unless I.
No, we can see
I'm not
you.
going to juggle anything.
No, we can see you.
Yeah, like half my face is covered by this Darth Vader mask here.
I just think of the LL Cool J video. Don't call it a comeback. All right, but anyway,
let me give it a try on this new paragraph then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Trial memes, almost universally weighted against herd, have taken over every corner of the internet, from TikTok to Twitch to Etsy. And you realize that this isn't mainstream stuff. This is just randos with their TikTok.
It's people sharing their opinions online. How dare they?
Suggest they're not bots, because really, how would a bot create a TikTok video? Anyway, even Saturday Night Live has been portrayed as many excesses and absurdities of the trial testimony. And social media users have similarly found the trial ripe for parody. On TikTok, for example, totally unrelated accounts seem to have given themselves over to full-time Depp Heard trial mockery, to the point where the actual substance of the testimony seems completely irrelevant beside the need to mine the proceedings for entertainment. Sure, Amber Heard cried while on stand. Very loose definition of cried. But did you see how ridiculous she looked while doing it?
Well, because it didn't look real. That's why
because it didn't
ridiculous.
Look real.
Yeah, I don't know.
It looked like terrible acting.
I mean, she's not even a good actress. These people are so desperate. Do you realize how much this is just cope and damage control all day?
Of course.
That's all this is. Like, they're so they're terrified. They're terrified that this is going to be hard. It's going to hurt them because how's
the sound now?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, to put it. Shall I continue? We have a bunch of stuff we need to get.
Yeah, we have super chats and stuff, so I wanted to get those done. First, I have a Rumble rant. I'm going to do the Rumble rants first because I think that, I want to give them the priority. So. Josh Chasen, and I hope I'm not butchering that, but I've been saying it that way since you started super chatting us. Josh Chasen sends us a rant for $2 and says, GPT-3 is already more intelligent than NPCs. The solution to all this could be for VR to become real and have everyone initially only engage with AI and none NPCs can break out and find each other. Thank you for that. I think I'm going to stay away from the virtual world and just talk with actual human beings in the flesh.
No, we should do another virtual.
Flesh. I don't have a problem. We should do
another fever dream.
No, I'll
just
visit.
Go back into the fever dream. Yeah,
I'll visit.
You just won't live there.
But I don't want to stay there because, that's another thing too. Is I think that people like the author of this article and likely authors of many news articles that write in this way, whether they're at Jezebel or The Root or Vox or Vice or The Guardian or The Daily Beast or whatever, I think those people are perpetually online losers. Like they are, because have you noticed how often these thought pieces talk about what happened on Twitter or what happened on TikTok or what happened on Facebook or what happened on, this other social media thing? And I'm like, but that's not reality. That's not reality. Most people are not on those platforms.
Touch grass.
Go out and touch grass. But I mean, I'm not even saying that to be just to be mean or bully people.
About you.
I'm saying your cats are worried. No, but I'm saying they report on stuff that happens on social media as though it is real life. And it's the percentage of people on Twitter that aren't even human beings is a lot higher than we think it is. So why are you reporting on what Twitter is saying? You know, and you ever notice that a lot of times these things they have like ads like baked into the writing. That's how plugged in to like social media these people are. They'll probably mention halfway through their thing, like, you know what, I feel like we should go to Arby's, you know, or something, like in the middle of the article, because they're not living in reality. Like go make friends. Go get but you can't because you're terrified of the outside. It's scary. I'm not going to say why because we're on YouTube, but there are scary things outside like oxygen and, you know, and other human beings
that might disagree with you.
Yes.
All right. So we got some super chows, unless you want to finish the Rumble rants.
I did the Rumble rant. It was just one. I got super chats, but you do the chows first and then I'll do the super chats.
Okay. All right. So I just want to remind everyone, if you want to send us a super chow uncensored, and also we get the full benefit of the amount, it is at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. All right. Great Endora sends us $5. Feminists and their advocacy groups still view women as chattel for over 100 years or so by now. Yeah, this is something that I wish a lot of more women would understand. Feminism doesn't give them power. Feminism uses women's power for its own ends. Women have always had power. They've always exercised power in their families and in their community. Yep. If you look at history, you will see this. Feminism uses that power for its own ends, and what it sells you back is the idea that you are powerless without it. It is a sales pitch. It is create the sickness, sell the cure, and get it out of your life. You'll feel a lot better. The Better Printmaster says, gives us $5 and says, any woman who describes herself as strong and independent should be legally prohibited from relying on the social and legal female victim narrative. I'm really sick and tired of that cognitive dissonance. Well, it's similar to the cognitive dissonance in which somehow making women empowered means telling them that they're a victim of everything. Ugh. And Amasang gives us Amasang gives us $5 and say, how dare people mock Amber Heard's crying? Says the people who mock Kyle Rittenhouse's crying. Let me tell you something. Kyle Rittenhouse's crying looked a hell of a lot more realistic. Well, not realistic, genuine. Not to mention, men don't get anything from it.
Yeah, he doesn't benefit from that. And he
doesn't benefit from it.
What was he, like 18 when that happened? I mean, I don't know if I could handle the tremendous pressure of and he was describing what he was forced to do. Like Amber Heard is not, that's just not even in this, it's not just not in the same ballpark, it's not even the same fucking sport. So
okay. Yeah, I know. Super chat. Super chat.
Oh, super chats. Okay. Albatross gives us $5 and says, these articles are basically saying, how dare you make women look bad? Yeah, or how dare you make our women and our ideology and our presumptions about the dynamic between men and women look bad. It's not even really about women. Like it never was. It's about preserving the narrative. Like I was saying, what is domestic violence to feminists? It's just wife beating. So
okay. I just took a look.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of paragraphs to this. It is not a virtuous article. It is not short. Okay.
This one that we're doing right now?
Yeah.
Really? It gets longer?
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll see how far we get before. Because the thing is, like, again, this is likely one of those sophist pieces where they're like, okay, we have to acknowledge what's really happening, but then after that, what we need to do is we need to figure out how to distort reality through words to convince people that actually,
it's more nuanced.
Yeah, we got to like pour on the nuance until you can't tell what's true anymore. And I think that is honestly what they do. So,
it's funny because that whole framework is like going up to like a black truck with one of these people and you're like, it's a black truck. And they're like, well, yes, it's a black truck. But if you considered it in a more nuanced way, it would be more of a silver truck. And you're like, no, it's a black truck. It's like, but you don't have any nuance. Don't you understand? It's like nuance is a word that they use to, everybody agrees that reality is what it is. But since it doesn't reflect the narrative, the lie, the nuance is let's get rid of reality. The truck is silver. That's nuanced. It's like recognizing reality, recognizing the truth of reality doesn't have enough wiggle room for them, if that makes sense. So you have to apply nuance, which seems to be another word for lying now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know.
It is. No, it's about like trying to use words to alter reality.
Oh, sorry. Keep going.
No, it's okay. So thank you, Albatross. Richard Bier gives us $4.99 and says the last Asia that was prominent in, I don't know if that's like a misspell, but he says, I'm just going to read what it says. The last Asia that was prominent in #MeToo has a relationship with an underage boy and probably or possibly tried playing victim. Tried to watch on Rumble, no joy. So you mean he means Asia Argento.
Yes.
But it wasn't very spelled out. So, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah, Asia Argento. Again, not convenient. No one talks about it anymore. I think the only people who have actually brought it up in the last couple of years was us, because the Asia Argento story is just not convenient. It goes against the, and I found this other thing. I was going to make this a news story. I learned that in I think it was last year, or it was in 2019. Maybe it was 2019. There was a report that came out that showed in 2019, I believe, alone, there have been over 123 arrests of teachers for acting inappropriately with students. And in the report I read, I was reading about it, and they said that the overwhelming majority of the people, so first of all, you have that, right? And I'd like to see the numbers on the Catholic Church to just do a comparison, because I think that the kind of shit that happens in schools is probably a much bigger problem, simply because more children and more parents attend schools than they do the Catholic Church. So, there is, first of all, that, because, not everyone in the U.S. is Catholic. So there is, just mathematically, but I would also be curious to see, because we are expected to accept this idea that the Catholic Church is full of pedophiles, and that's terrible, but that the schools are not, and that's okay. Right? The schools are not, in fact, trying to get to your kids. And so, but what makes it even more interesting is that the report I read claimed that the overwhelming majority, although they didn't give me a number, I haven't read the whole thing yet though, of people who have been arrested for inappropriate sexual behavior with children were men. So I asked myself, what percentage of teachers are men versus women? And when a man behaves inappropriately with his students, do we treat that the same as when a woman does it? Because I bet that those numbers would be much higher if we would have treated women the same way we treat men. Because men can't even, in general, they have a hard time getting a job in teaching because of the fact that they're men. So, how is that number coming out like that? And this all comes down to perception. So,
well, you just have to look at the numbers for juvenile detention facilities in terms of the studies or the surveys that they do. So in this case, it's not people who are arrested; it's who the underage boys or the incarcerated youth are saying is assaulting them, and it is overwhelmingly female. Like the perpetrators in juvenile detention facilities are overwhelmingly female guards, and I would imagine that if you actually took a look at at a survey of students in schools, that you would possibly find similar numbers if it was an anonymous survey. But once you get to the point of arrest, the system is biased for female abusers, both sexual and domestic violence abusers. So they just sort of end up fading into the background. But if you don't actually look at female perpetration of abuse and sexual abuse and actually deal with it, you're not going to do anything to resolve either issue, which is really where we come in. You need to look at the whole problem to actually have a solution. We want to actually have solutions. That's why we look at the men's side and why we're interested in it. We also care about men. We're unusual. It's not that we don't care about women. We're unusual because we do care about men.
Yeah.
We're a very small number of people in the world who do that. We are a rare breed, a rare species, shall we say. But anyway, I'm going to continue with the next paragraph unless you have more super chats.
Nope. That's it for me.
All right. Geez, okay, here we go. To put it mildly, this surreal explosion of internet culture vilification of her feels dispiriting and troubling. What made so many millions of people feel so justified in treating such a personal, toxic relationship like popcorn fodder? At what point before the bot armies and the men's rights activists poison the well of discourse around this trial could a reasonable assessment of the evidence and facts have been made? Did that point ever exist? So they're going to blame everybody who's looked at the evidence and come to the conclusion that Amber Heard is the abuser. They're going to say that's a men's rights activist. And then they're going to say the existence of people who have looked at the evidence and come to the conclusion that Amber Heard is an abuser, the very existence of them, means that no conclusion can be made. What a fancy way of saying, I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah.
Like just being like, yeah, so the evidence points to Amber Heard being an abuser. Well, we don't like that. And the fact that you all are now men's rights activists, we don't have to concede the point. We win by. God damn. Yep. I love how they're just like really making it plain how they use the term men's rights activist too. It's like it's their gotcha. It's like all of the people, everybody, including maybe people who have just stumbled across this video. You guys are being called men's rights activists to set this up. Okay? You look at the evidence. Many of you have finally looked at the evidence because Johnny Depp has clawed his way out of the oubliette of social ostracism to bring us all the evidence publicly. He had to sacrifice everything to do this, to shove it into the public eye. And so a lot of people are seeing the actual evidence from the actual trial and coming to the conclusion that Amber Heard is an abuser. But all of you who have done that are now men's rights activists poisoning the well. And we can't possibly come to the conclusion that Amber Heard is an abuser from the evidence because you have come to the conclusion that Amber Heard is an abuser from the evidence, and that makes you a men's rights activist. That's how they use the label. They use the label as another way of denying reality. So anybody who comes to a conclusion they don't like, they're a men's rights activist. Those men's rights activists are poisoning the well, so now we can't come to any conclusion. Herp-a-derp. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Does anybody else see this?
No, I see that. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Like, they can't feasibly make the claim that Amber Heard lied. So instead, what they're gonna do is they're gonna try and convince us that the truth can never really be known. Right? Then no, I'm serious. But they're using
the fact that people have gone through the truth and gone to this conclusion, and calling them men's rights activists, to somehow pretzel their way into saying the existence of these people means that we can't come to the conclusion that these people have come to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure.
And all we're doing is just labeling the people who've come to that conclusion men's rights activists, and somehow that makes it all work. We just blame this conclusion on men's rights activists. That means that the conclusion is invalid. QED, let's all go home and have some days.
Yep.
And so, that does not how reality works. Most of the people who have come to the conclusion that Amber Heard is an abuser have never even heard of men's rights.
You know, the acknowledgement of reality as a static, objective thing that other people can't control is a far-right, hyper-conservative, Nazi dog whistle talking point, Allison. So you shouldn't be doing that. and you laugh. Well, I laughed.
I'm not laughing. You laugh. I'm not.
But it's
true. Like horrified.
But it's true.
Everybody who comes to a conclusion I don't agree with or is inconvenient to my narrative is a men's rights activist. I'm going to blame that on men's rights activists and summarily dismiss it because men's rights activists are automatically wrong.
Yeah.
Anybody who's been labeled a men's rights activist by Vox, yes, insofar as you are advocating for the rights of an abused man named Johnny Depp, I suppose. But, like, And I would hope that you wouldn't feel too bad about being lumped in with people like us who have been trying to advocate for the rights of abused and falsely accused men for decades, who don't have incredible fame and charm and oodles of people who are willing to stand up for them and money. But on the other hand, you don't have to call yourself a men's rights activist. Probably you shouldn't, because it's a difficult road to hoe. But regardless, anyway,
I'll continue. Sure. I got a super chat. Yeah, I should probably, because these things, they disappear after a while, and then it's really hard to find them. So Derek Workman gives us $5 and says, society treats women as the arbiters of children's boundaries. Women literally can't abuse children by crossing them or crossing their boundaries. I see what you mean. Yeah, that's true. That's the reason why we don't find, grooming behavior from women. A lot of people will have a hard time seeing it for what it is. That's literally what, like why they report on teachers that bang their students as having an affair. Yeah, with them. So
we're never going to get through this article. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Go on. What's next?
Yeah,
that's it. Okay. Thank you, Derek.
Okay. I can actually also read the super chats if you lose track of them, but I want to bang out a couple of these damn paragraphs.
Yeah, do it.
And I know it's entirely my fault too. Most of the reporting on these memes has placed the blame for their sensationalist tone squarely on the evolution of fandom content creation. But recall that the white supremacist alt-right movement has a long history of memifying everything they want to normalize and legitimize to keep in the forefront of your mind. And keep in the forefront of your mind that the alt-right latched onto this case as its bulwark long before fandom and the internet at large did. Did it? Do you have evidence of that? Probably not. By now, after years
onto this case as its bulwark long before the fandom and the internet. Or even
what does this even mean? Like the alt-right came to a conclusion?
If by her definition, the alt-right equals men's rights activists, which I think they would argue that it does.
They're talking like 6 years ago?
MRAs, maybe 6 years ago, because when this first broke, it wasn't like it is now, where all of the lies are coming out and everything. When this first broke, it was basically us that were, in the minority position of just not assuming that what Amber Heard said was true. Now, shortly after she made the allegations, some people started to see, issues with her claims, but it wasn't like it is now, where it's like, it seems like, and again, it seems like, and again, we are looking at the internet and social media, which is not real life, but it looks like most people are behind Johnny Depp, although Amber Heard has her supporters, but
by now, after years of political disinformation campaigns, to social media's natural ability to create reality. Rarely, however, has it been bent this far, this rapidly, for this many people in service of something this vile. Yes, Vox, reality is an alt-right conspiracy.
Yeah, it is.
This entire court case is an alt-right conspiracy. Everybody is being influenced by the alt-right instead of actually watching the court case for themselves and making their own decisions. Again and again. This is as crazy as when you I actually sort of feel sorry for Amber Heard, because the narrative that she's spinning, it's like, is she aware that she's losing it? Like it's spinning out of her control. It's not going the way she wants.
I don't have sympathy, because that's what happens when all you have are lies. You're going to lose control of the lie, because you're not going to be able to keep track of your story. Yeah, they're acting on her defense. Yeah, they're totally like trying to...
not just acting in her defense. They're acting like sociopaths. Who are losing control of the narrative that they've constructed. The reason why I feel sorry for her is it's like... it just seems... What's the point of living a life that divorced from or accountability?
I agree, unless it's just to avoid accountability, and it's just to make sure that she continues to get work. Because what's she gonna do?
Maybe she's just gonna ride this train to its bitter end. No, I guess there's sort of a nobility in that.
No, people commit to their lie even though they know they're lying, and it's because of just that. It's like, well, I've already gone halfway, through hell. I may as well finish the trip.
Use the word nuance.
Oh, good. We needed that. We need to know what we're up against here.
Again and again over the course of this trial, basic human empathy seems to have completely flown out the window. Have you listened?
What?
No, seriously. Has this writer listened to what Amber Heard was saying to Johnny Depp in these recordings?
Or what the media was saying about Johnny Depp when they believed her? Like, basic human empathy? Excuse me, 2016 called. It wants to know, like, where the fuck have you been? Are you kidding me? That pisses me off. Like, no one is more ruthless in attacking men or, like, their political enemies. Nobody is worse than these people. Like, they're absolutely dehumanized constantly. And now they're like, where's all the empathy? Where's the basic human empathy for Amber Heard? Even though she destroyed Johnny Depp's career by writing that piece she wrote for the Washington Post, which started this whole thing. No, it's time for empathy now, guys. It's time for unity and healing, everyone. Let's all stop. Come get this unity and healing.
We don't like reality. Why can't you have empathy for that?
Yeah,
I know.
You
don't have empathy for anyone, Vox, or the individual who wrote this.
Yeah.
Like, you're completely devoid of it. Everything. More than that, nuance. Oh, they're using the word nuance.
Oh yeah, here we go. Nuance. That means,
nuance essentially seems to mean to them, yes, we all know that reality is. Yes. But reality is also inconvenient. So let us give a more nuanced take to the recognition of what reality is, and possibly consider adjusting our cognition in a nuanced way towards a more narrative interpretation of reality. More than that, nuance feels impossible. And there doesn't seem to be, nuance is, I think nuance is the name of the lubricant that they give, that they use before they insert the dildo of their lies. It's a nuance.
yeah, exactly.
Hand me some nuance. This is a big one.
Grease up this fucking...
Yeah, we're going to grease up
dragon dildo of...
brain anus.
Yeah, of narrative.
All right. Okay, and there doesn't seem to be room for even the reality of the situation. What? More than that, nuance feels impossible, and there doesn't seem to be room for even the reality of the situation.
What are you talking about?
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm going to interpret this. I'm going to go for it, Brian.
Oh my God, Alison, just come back alive.
Okay,
and at least, or the same person if you're able to, because I can see this is like a fucking Lovecraftian incantation. Like, I think you're gonna bring some kind of vagina monster through a portal if you don't do this correctly. Okay,
I'm going in. All right. Okay. Men's rights activists back in the day looked at the evidence and said, I think that Johnny Depp is innocent and Amber guilty. Lots of other people were like, no, Amber, me too, believe all women. Now that the evidence is getting out, other people are getting on board with the interpretation based on the evidence that we were saying 6 years ago. But because we said it 6 years ago, we have tainted this interpretation of reality, and we can no longer accept it because we've tainted it with our brain marbles, and so it must be dismissed. Like, we can't come to this conclusion, obviously, because men's rights activists came to this conclusion. Therefore, it's wrong. And that means that we can no longer, because we came to this conclusion, we can no longer even discuss the real evidence. It has to be removed. And we can't discuss the reality of the situation because it's so tainted by the existence of online memes. Therefore, we are left with the narrative. I think I almost got it. Like because the online memes are misogynist towards Amber Heard, we can no longer look at the reality of the trial.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
we
right.
must substitute the feminist narrative instead.
Yes, we can't even seem to make room for the reality of the situation.
It's really difficult to make my brain work like. You can't even make room for the reality of the situation. This is them dismissing the reality of everything they're seeing, like the reality of all the evidence. And they're dismissing it because memes are misogynist, and men's rights activists already came to this conclusion. That's why they're dismissing all of the evidence. The contours of the abuse were well established before the 2018 opinion column Depp is suing over was published. The basic facts of the case have gotten their day in court once already, having been heard in a British court in 2020 with a judge finding in Heard's favor. But the basic well-established facts do not seem to matter. Okay. That judgment was rife with errors, and I believe that they didn't even base it on the evidence that is being put into the court now. And also, partly, the judge based their conclusion on the fact that they said Heard donated the money she got from Johnny Depp from their divorce. And she didn't. The judge specifically said that her donating that money was inconsistent with Johnny Depp's characterization of her as a gold digger, which was one thing that contributed to that judge's conclusion. Plus, the judge had conflicts of interest. And now they're reopening. I think they're reopening it and looking at it. So, hope that isn't retroactively overturned. They do not seem to matter to people who would normally care about facts, truth, and nuance. They do not seem to matter to the tabloid media gleefully reporting on every aspect of this case. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them. Sam, I am. They do not seem to matter to the TikTok. Oh God, are you trying for resonance?
Yeah, what is this? Like now it's turning into straight up a slam poem. It doesn't matter to them.
Can someone lay down a beat for me?
All of a sudden, women don't matter either.
Someone lay down a beat to this. They do not seem to matter to the TikTok creators who sees every chance to parody the tearful Heard, turning her objectively harrowing trial testimony into a farce of over-the-top fake weeping.
Yeah, that's more like it. Come on, like if it doesn't look real and people are like, yeah, this bitch is being phony.
You aren't going to be walking after being raped by a bottle. Literally, there are women who have experienced that. Probably men, but they're not talking about it, who have experienced that are coming out and calling her out for this. And I believe the woman who's experienced Heard stole to lie about has even mentioned, allegedly stole to lie about, has mentioned this in public. And that Heard stole her story. Okay? Let's this is getting a little bit, at this point, it's difficult to find her credible, let's say.
Yeah.
And yeah. If you are getting punched in the face, if a man with no rings on punches you in the face, and you're like, what, Amber is 115 pounds?
I don't even think
you're gonna have lots. Yeah, okay, but it's gonna be visible. There's gonna be swelling.
Wet, yeah.
Yeah. Like Johnny's lawyer established, Johnny always wears those rings. Okay? You get punched in the face with those rings, you're gonna get a skull fracture. You're going to have concussions. You're going to have your face completely torn up. You're going to need stitches. Amber Heard, if Johnny Depp punched her in the face with those rings, that would be the end of Amber Heard's acting career because her face would be covered with scars. She'd look like Edward Scissorhands, except, less aesthetically appealing. The facts, and that's reality. Okay? Yeah. You get raped by a bottle, you're not walking the next day. You could have like a prolapsed uterus from shit like that. You get hit in the face with what amounts to a knuckle duster, you're going to have a fractured skull, broken nose. You're going to have severe damage to your face, the kind of damage that ends modeling careers. Lies, you believe women? Yeah, if it's not credible. I was reading this this tweet, this pro Amber Heard tweet, where this woman alleges that her abuser lifted her up by the throat and threw her across the room.
A Mortal Kombat fatality? Is that Michael Myers? Is that her boyfriend, Michael Myers?
Is your boyfriend the Hulk?
Picked me up by the throat and threw me across the room.
Are you like an 85-pound woman and your boyfriend is a professional deadlifter?
Yeah, is he like?
Are you kidding me?
Is it Charlie Nash? Are you like? I'm
That's
sorry,
physically
but
impossible.
Is your boyfriend the Undertaker?
Yeah, seriously, that's
stop watching movies.
Impossible.
Stop watching movies.
Why should
you're exposing yourself?
I'm at the point at why should we believe women when they tell us physically impossible things happened?
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously. The facts do not seem to matter to any of the people who have gleefully latched on to the image of Heard as a manipulative villain, as if she split her own lip, punched her own face, and pulled clumps of her own hair. Are you kidding me? That little tiny clump? That's from a brush.
Yeah.
Where does this go anywhere?
They're basically
this is old.
What?
This is like from 2022. It's like 2 years ago. Why don't you use stuff from because this is real evidence.
Well, the case from 2020 is the one that Johnny Depp lost. That's what I was going to say. It was a case not against Heard, but against the Sun for printing, I think, some defamation in there. If I remember correctly, and they called him a wife beater or whatever. And he was doing a case against them, and the British court said, that they basically ruled against him. And so because they did, the people like Vox are going to keep bringing this up because they're going to say, oh, well, look, he lost a case in this date, so we know he's a wife beater now, even though that wasn't really the same case. There's
still a novel left to this damn freaking article.
Yeah.
Do you want to take the next paragraph?
Yeah, we can keep going. What does it start with? The facts do not? No, what
we're witnessing here.
Oh, yeah, here we go. What we're witnessing here are the dramatically compounded effects of internet researcher Alice Marwick's theory of morally motivated network harassment, which holds that a group of social media users can justify any amount of abuse directed at a target if they feel their cause is morally right. Wow. Projection. This is what you guys do. Holy shit.
Do you remember? No wrong tactics.
Yeah, only wrong targets. Yes, absolutely.
And again, they're just complaining about memes and TikTok videos and people just not liking Amber Heard because of the horrible, horrible behavior she displayed towards Johnny Depp in her own recordings. Like this isn't nobody's canceling her. At least, I guess some people are. I don't necessarily support that.
I don't agree with that. I think it's better to just not watch Aquaman 2 than make sure she can't work, because if you make sure she can't work, she's going to become a burden on society, and we're all going to have to pay for her ass anyway. So let her get work. Just don't watch her shit.
Yeah. Okay. But also, she's a terrible actress. She's painful. Okay.
Yeah. Well.
All right. Next.
All right. Anyway, so.
Got so much to get through here.
At scale, this looks like, and effectively is, millions of people around the world lining up to eagerly subject one woman to untold amounts of abuse, public humiliation, and violent rhetoric. Incidentally, this is exactly what Depp wanted to happen to her. So even if he loses the case, he still wins.
Okay, wait. So essentially, she's getting a taste of what's happened to all of the men who were accused. And the fact is, factually, some of them may have been abused. She factually did abuse him. Mm-hmm. And now she is being subject to being politically vilified. Isn't that what Me Too was about?
Well, that's really what's at stake here. That's why they won't say it, because again, they're just Amber Heard is a means to an end, so, and it didn't pan out because when she probably told them that well, look, Depp abused me or whatever. And they didn't even look into it. They didn't challenge it. They didn't ask any questions. They just said, yup, and went along with it. And now that narrative is falling apart. And they're like, oh, how do we save ourselves from this? So they're going to throw under the bus when they have to. And then they're going to say, well, they're going to do them on both sides. And they're also going to say, well, this doesn't mean that Me Too isn't important. And in fact, I think this is another reason, like, I think they're going to like bring up other, maybe more credible
black and white
allegations. Yeah, I don't want to say credible, but black and white, or, what they would believe could be spun as a clear-cut example of why Me Too is still necessary. They'll probably bring that up to distract away from Amber Heard. And by the way, I've noticed a lot of people that have been saying that we shouldn't be looking at the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp thing. I'm at the point now where I'm thinking those people, they're not interested in what the real cultural consequences of this trial could be.
Oh, excuse me.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Are you okay? Was that like a demon escaping your body? That's what you get for trying to try to pick apart that statement about nuance. Is what you just expelled. You just got rid of whatever that was.
Expelled the Vox demon.
The Vox demon was like grabbing onto your.
I had like a sneeze that decided to go two directions at
once.
Once.
Yeah, no, I've been there.
I'm sorry, I should have muted. Ugh.
It's okay. It just sort of surprised me. Anyway. Okay.
Oh man.
So where was I? I'll just read the next.
To be clear.
Oh yeah, to be clear, this isn't an easy story of good and evil. Of course, it's not.
I smell reality about to be real.
Yeah.
We're about to acknowledge reality.
It's impossible to completely absolve Amber Heard, who has her own alleged history of violence. Alleged? Okay, whatever. Or frame Depp as a monster incapable of kindness, charity, and the positive energy that amassed him millions of fans to begin with. So that's an acknowledgement, sort of.
Of reality.
Of some reality. Yet you don't need to do either of those things to acknowledge that this is a case about the deeply unfunny topic of intimate partner abuse, and that the major points of this trial have already been decided in one court of law, the British one. The judge at the first trial thanks Britain. The judge at the first trial in 2020 found Heard had proven 12 of 14 allegations of abuse. So far, none of the trial testimony has substantially contradicted anything in Heard's original claim of being a domestic violence survivor.
It's contradicted everything.
Yeah. I don't.
It hasn't. Okay. All right. No. Wait. This is sort of Weaselly, but I see what. They're right. It hasn't contradicted anything because I believe the UK judge basically said she said it happened, so it happened. Case closed.
Yeah,
who's also got a conflict of interest.
Absolutely.
Who was not at arm's length from Amber Heard. But so yeah, they're right. None of the trial testimony, nor could any trial testimony, and they didn't say evidence, they said trial testimony, ever contradict the fact that Amber Heard has indeed alleged to be a victim of domestic violence. Because that's a fact. Amber Heard has alleged to be a victim of domestic violence. It's not evidence or not comprehensive evidence that Johnny Depp is an abuser, but it is a fact that she has alleged to be a victim. So what is it that they're even saying here? Yeah. No testimony can take away the fact that Amber alleged to be. This is a tautology. There's no actual there to this statement. Because there's no way that we could ever falsify the statement that Amber Heard has alleged that she is a victim of abuse. There's no testimony that can falsify it. There's no evidence that can falsify it because it's just an observation of what Amber Heard has done. So the judge in the UK observed that Amber Heard has alleged that she is a victim of abuse and said that is sufficient to say that she was a victim of abuse. And nothing in the testimony has been able to contradict that because it's impossible to contradict. It's a tautology and or sophistry. But I like to see that,
Oh
They
my
do
God.
allege, or they do actually acknowledge reality, which is that Amber Heard has a history of abuse. And
They're calling it alleged. And that's why, because not only what she did with Johnny Depp, but also what she did with her last, was it her last partner, her last girlfriend, that she had also abused, I believe, because there was a case on that and everything. So it's not alleged. It's like on record. We know, you know. It doesn't immediately mean that she will forever be guilty of every allegation made against her, but it does demonstrate that she has a history. It's not just that one time she threw a bottle at Johnny Depp. Or that one time she confessed to slugging him or hitting him but not hitting him.
But not punching him. I hit you, but I didn't punch you.
But I didn't punch you, and those are very important distinctions.
Yeah, that's the critical thing here. Well, it's the mark of somebody, a controlling person who always has. You punched me. Well, no, what I did, a palm strike, not a punch.
But you're fine.
And you're fine. Oh God. They don't understand how people with empathy might listen to that and get really angry on behalf of Johnny Depp. Of course not. And then they okay. Next paragraph, because we got.
All right, I'll go ahead and do the next paragraph. Culture critic Ella Dawson has a Twitter thread. Now she's bringing in these experts, and I swear to God, these are just people who are perpetually online people. Like they're losers. But okay, let's hear from this culture critic. I can call myself a culture critic, by the way. I am now a culture critic.
Culture critic.
I am culture. I am
culture critic. Brian Martinez is about to.
I am now an expert culture critic, Duke of the Twitter observational sphere, because I don't actually have a Twitter account, but I know what goes on. Too. I know what goes on. Okay, so culture critic Ella Dawson, loser, has a Twitter thread compiling reporting on the myriad ways in which the trial is not only destroying years of progress made against domestic abuse in the US, because it's dismantling the feminist narrative about that, but also laying the groundwork for a culture in which bots and bad actors harass, vilify, and eviscerate all other prominent women who publicly name their abusers, like Gamergate. But times tens of millions of participants are way worse than Gamergate ever was, and gleefully endorsed by people all across American culture.
Yeah, like the media is suddenly discovering that you lie to people enough and people start to not believe you.
Yeah.
And
it's almost like that.
Okay. And Gamergate, okay, you made it about harassment of women because that is what they do.
Yes.
Like when they want to vilify one, so it's always the bears and tigers, lions and so
Wait, you're breaking up. Get closer to your mic because you're breaking
whenever
up.
They want to vilify people, it's always the bears and tigers and lions, oh my. It's always the misogynist, racists, and homophobes, oh my, or the misogynist, racist, and transphobes, oh my. Like they always trot that out. They always do. I was accused of harassing women at a convention. Like literally, I was accused of that. And I suffered from it because, well, I was falsely accused, even though we had recorded the event in question. And what had happened was the panel was like, why can't we have a dialogue? It was a panel of feminists. Why can't we have a dialogue with the other side? And I was like, oh, okay, so you guys want a dialogue, a conversation. And I got up and I'm like, okay, well, I'm the other side. You want to see my point of view? And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's interesting. Had a polite conversation. When they asked me to sit down, I sat down. And then the next day I was accused of harassment. Like, this is what they do. This is their playbook. And of course they want to be able to get away with accusing people of anything and being believed when they do, because that gives them unbelievable power, absolute power, complete power over everyone. And Gamergate called them out for this. And what did they do? They called Gamergate harassers of women. What a surprise. I think that my story might be the only woman harassed out of a convention story from Gamergate?
From the entire period, yes. Yeah, that never happened.
It never did the reverse happen to somebody. Like, and I was pro Gamergate, and I was the only woman in this entire situation ever harassed out of a convention. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And I was pro Gamergate.
I don't know of any other harass out of.
And the funny thing is that they're calling out themselves. They talk about this morally motivated network harassment. What do they think these allegations cause? What do you think Johnny Depp dealt with?
What's Crash Override Network? What's the Trust and Safety Council of Twitter? What's the Trust and Safety team over at Twitch? It's the same people. It's SJWs and feminists that go back to Gamergate and even before that, from Tumblr, from the dark recesses of Reddit, from wherever, and they're essentially policing people online, and they use bots. Like, this is 100% projection.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, do you know why they invoke Gamergate so often? Because it comes up.
The only time a significant portion of people have stood up to the media.
There is that, and also because for the most part, their narrative about what Gamergate is persists. So their version of reality regarding Gamergate is probably the dominant narrative. So if you go up to people involved in other sort of similar kinds of, I don't want to call them movements, but like revolts or spaces where people are angry about, the state of journalism, the state of their interests or their hobbies or whatever, like Comicsgate, for example, or, the Fandom Menace or whatever, right? And if Gamergate comes up, most of the people in that immediately try to distance themselves from it, or they behave in an ambiguous way. And this means that they're either not certain if Gamergate is something they want to like stick their neck out for, or they're pretty sure that what Gamergate was accused of is probably true, and the thing that they're defending is somehow different from that or unique in some way. And so because Gamergate still has like some power to emotionally manipulate people against, groups like Gamergate or anything they can tie to Gamergate, they keep using it because Gamergate it didn't have the same ability to fight back when Gamergaters were attacked by the media and feminists and the news and Stephen Colbert. I mean, they threw everything at Gamergate. And, and even within Gamergate itself, there was some division because there were people who were like, I just want, people to, just be fair when they do reviews. I want to get rid of all of this kind of incestuous stuff. And then there were people that were like, no, like this ideology has to go. And I was in the latter camp at the time, and I still am, because that's where all these problems stem from. And you can't just clean up.
You can't have that. It's impossible to live with an ideology that presumes for itself the right to take away everybody's freedom of speech and censor. Exactly.
Yes. So anyway,
and it's not even that they need to be censored or have their freedom of speech taken away. They just need to be questioned.
Yeah.
And their self-righteousness imploded, shall we say?
Exactly. And but like this is why they bring this up, because what they're trying to do is they have, it's sort of like invoking again the 2020 trial that Johnny Depp lost, or Elon Musk, which they're basically accusing him of sexual misconduct because they're trying to destroy his reputation, because they're trying to make sure that nobody uses his Twitter platform, or maybe the sale doesn't go through, whatever, it doesn't matter. They're trying to ruin him. And their precedent is that, there was a case and somebody supposedly got paid off and that was the end of it. And so they're just going to use it because they have something, right? that they can use to destroy people, and that's what they're doing here. This is why that Gamergate keeps coming back up, and I know that people roll their eyes and they cringe and all that, but you have to understand that the reason why is because it's still a very useful tool for them, because a lot of people believe it. And if we had rejected this notion that Gamergate hated women, full stop, 100% from the very beginning, they wouldn't have been able to do this. But there were too many neutral cowards that were willing to go, well, maybe some of this is going on. And there were nice feminists that got involved in Gamergate, like Liana Kay, who basically destroyed the reputation from the inside by simply creating these nuanced arguments that there could be some people that use the hashtag that might have, like, you know, bad intentions. No evidence of it, doesn't matter. Now it basically has as a talking point, it lends their side credibility, at least in their minds. Anyone who really knows, you know, what Gamergate is, which is essentially the same thing that we're still fighting right now, it's just manifesting in different places. You all should know better, but they think that this is useful. That's why they keep invoking it. So,
all right. Okay. Next paragraph.
All right.
Let's go through this.
Yeah, that above all, above the TikTok cat memers mocking Heard and Saturday Night Live dismissing the whole trial as for fun is what's absolutely jaw-dropping here. This trial, which amounts to a simple yes or no question over whether Heard had the right to call herself a victim of domestic abuse in a single sentence from that 2018 opinion piece, has somehow united far-right misogynists with middle-of-the-road liberals and geeky progressive fandom acolytes of Depp. So these are three dismissive statements about the people who support Depp from this person at once. Far-right misogynists. Okay, I'll keep going. People who have spent the last decade hashtagging #BelieveWomen, fighting online harassment campaigns, and especially resisting white male supremacy, have, over the course of this trial, crawled into bed with the vilest kinds of internet refuse. At least 11.
That's us, Brian.
Yeah, but what happened to the human empathy that we're all supposed to be engaged in now? I thought this was a time for, you know, unity and healing.
Well, you know, we're vile internet refuse because we challenge their narrative.
We're not people.
Yeah.
So
because we challenge their narrative for no other reason.
Yeah.
We just disagree with them. That makes us vile internet refuse.
Yes.
And they are the compassionate ones. They're brimming over with the milk of human kindness.
Super tolerant. This is the most tolerant thing they could say about us. I mean, these are big words that required her to look up the thesaurus, you know, for garbage. Garbage humans. That's us, garbage humans. At least 11% of whom don't actually exist, according to one bot researcher. Yeah, because we have to believe them. Possibly all because they really like Captain Jack Sparrow.
Okay, let's go to the super chows and super chats.
All right. I'll go first. It'd be really quick.
I realize now what's happening. At a certain point reading this crap, I just don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I got a super chat from Patrick C, who gives us $10, but did not include a message. So thank you, Patrick, for the $10. I hope that that's all you meant to give us. So, but thank you. And then Richard Bier gives us $1.99 and says, so Amber survived Heather lesbian partner. All right. Thank you, Richard.
Okay.
You mean her lesbian partner, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, that's that. What do you got?
That's a thing that was said. The Butter Print Master gives us $5 and says, how dare these appropriate gynocentrism for themselves. The alt-right can't stop talking about my white woman. My white how did they say it? White women. If I don't know anything about the actual alt-right, it would be quite appealing to me, the description of that author. Yeah.
Well, the author is not really talking about the alt-right.
No, they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
They're basically just using that as a smear. And I think one of the reasons why the smear works is because a lot of us take it too seriously. You know, the alt-right is like a dozen guys. Let's just forget about them. They're perpetually online. Ignore it. Don't allow
Yes.
these people to use a really unpopular minority
Can I say
of
something
people to like,
Can I
you
say
know,
something?
attack us. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I did once talk to somebody that I think was actually part of like a white nationalist who's all about preserving the white race. And he also spent time in our Discord. And he said to me, you guys have more women than we do.
I bet.
I bet. Like, Jesus.
Oh man,
I
I got a sound. I got a sound.
nationalist.
I have a sound I have to play for that. I'm sorry.
Okay, and I'm going to be back in about 2 minutes.
Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless.
Okay. All right. So I will read. I have a thank you for the super chats. Let me just check Rumble to see if anything's going on there. If any super rumbles, rants. No, nothing. All right. So I got so I'm going to read this tweet that she puts out as, I guess, evidence of her argument. Amanda Smith says, we're like 7 years away from the dominoes meme, but the small domino is Johnny Depp cast in Nightmare on Elm Street, and the big domino is President Madison Cawthorn suspends 19th Amendment. Based. No. I mean,
I'm having a little trouble, like.
Yeah, somehow Johnny Depp becoming famous is going to lead to the repeal of the 19th Amendment for women. This is the rhetoric that they're operating at. What?
At some point in the future, we're gonna start scrambling to save our society, and somehow make things make sense. And we'll essentially have a referendum, and we'll be like, women, conscription or the vote, and women will be like, yeah, we're okay without the vote, and then that'll be the end of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it should be.
Well, I mean, there's got to be something. So I'm sorry, but
honestly, if you're going to expect men to lay down their lives to protect society, they should have an ultimate say in it. And until women are also expected to do exactly the same thing.
By the way, she's going to bring up QAnon because they're another boogeyman that we accept. Well, I just see it in bold, right? And of course,
I don't even fucking understand what QAnon is.
You know what? It doesn't matter. QAnon doesn't matter. Like they're, like
it's name dropping the demons.
Of course. I met a guy when Lindsay and I were driving from Chicago to Saskatchewan to meet with you guys, and we stopped in Fargo. And we stopped at a hotel. I needed to find a hotel that took dogs because Jojo was with us. And we were at this one hotel, and Jojo is a dog. And there was this old white dude that was staying at the hotel. He must have been in his 60s. And at the time, I didn't know what QAnon was. But I had heard rumblings. And I was just chatting with him because, he seemed really, polite and nice. And our rooms were next to each other, and it was like a motel. So it was like you go out the back door, you're right there on the parking lot. And he talked about, he asked me, and I was telling him what I do. That I have a podcast. I talk about men's issues, blah, blah, blah. And he said, oh, have you ever heard of, and he mentioned a couple of names of people on BitChute. And I was like, I heard of some, but I haven't heard of others. And then he asked me about Q, and I was like, I don't know what that is. And then he went and he went on this a bit of an interesting rant where he talked about how this is basically a war between heaven and hell, and the Nephilim are like on the surface and all this. And I was like, okay, like it's a little far fetched, but the guy wasn't dangerous. I didn't think that, I didn't feel threatened by him at any point. He just seemed like someone, and there are lots of people, that believe this, that there's like a spiritual battle going on, and I guess it's like, well, that's fine, but he's not he's essentially not saying, and so therefore we all need to give our souls to the fucking, to the World Economic Forum. So I just don't think that QAnon, despite how people like feel about it or whatever, I just don't think it's a threat. Like I have no feelings towards it. If people want to believe wild theories or whatever, I don't care. Like fucking the guy from Public Enemy believed in a bunch of weird shit too. I can't remember his name, but it's not Chuck D or Flavor Flav, it's the other guy. And that was going around. So what?
I don't care about QAnon. I don't want to have to care. The first time I heard about it, it was like somebody on Twitter accused me of being like a QAnon conspiracy, and I was like, "What's QAnon?" Oh, God. Oh, you got another demon. And the fact is that the media is demonizing them. That doesn't incline me to believe that they are bad people at all.
No,
but I don't know. They could be. I mean,
they could be, but I don't know.
I haven't looked into it.
That's the point. And the thing is, what she's about to do is make a claim, because the claim about QAnon is that they're conspiracy theorists. And yeah, I mean, there's shit that I'm not ready for. I'll just put it that way. That they talk about. However, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this is the same person that shared a tweet from a woman who believes giving Johnny Depp a job is going to lead to women losing the vote. And that's not a crazy conspiracy theory. That's totally legitimate.
It's like a butterfly flaps its wings kind of thing is getting at. But on the other hand, what the heck is patriarchy theory?
Exactly. Which same thing.
Like, what the heck is the idea that men have conspired, or unconsciously or consciously, to construct a society for their own benefit at the expense of women, despite the fact that if you look at all the studies, almost every human being wants to benefit.
Of course.
Like, how do we construct from the collective choices of people who want to benefit women over men a society that benefits men over women? Are we that inept? Or perhaps what feminists are doing is actually exploiting the very attitude that they say doesn't exist. The fact that people want to benefit men over women. And they do that by alleging that there are places where, the horrible thing is happening. Men are being benefited over women. And then everybody goes ape shit to stop it because they are triggering the very instinct they said don't exist. Yeah. Or feminists invented men caring about women in the 1960s. Pick your lunacy. Okay, can I read a couple paragraphs?
Yeah, I just want to say, though, to be honest, I wish that QAnon's framing of reality was real, because I think it'd be a lot more interesting to watch angels and demons fighting in my parking lot than like have to deal with what feminists say, and their narrative is the mainstream one. So how sad is that? But
the sheer volume of this cultural takeover by Depp acolytes has created a seismic value shift to the degree that may be unalterable. Well, thank you for conceding defeat. Oh, God, please. Trial watchers seem to be welcoming misinformation about the trial, watching it, while doing... I swear to God, Vox is like, every time a piece of evidence is submitted, they're like, that's misinformation. While doing everything they can to reject or undermine actual documented facts of the case. Don't look at the trial that's happening now. Go look at the trial in the UK by a judge whose, son was partying with Amber Heard, who wasn't arm's length. Go look at that. That's the one we should look at, where they didn't actually look at the evidence. Some of the arguments made against Amber Heard sound like QAnon-level conspiracy rabbit hole. Amber's trial outfits, for example, have somehow become part of a sinister narrative in which Heard is a manipulative abuser attempting to rattle and intimidate Depp by mimicking his own trial suits.
I mean, it's not impossible, but I mean, like, it's not. Yeah, she's literally wearing clothes that looks like the clothes he wore the day before.
Yeah, that's not a conspiracy.
And what was with that Dr. Evil suit she had on? Like, why did you think that was going to work out?
Who knows?
I don't know.
Like, that's not a conspiracy. It's something that narcissists do. They consume other people's identities. How is that a conspiracy?
I don't know.
This trial has accomplished what our engaged, paranoid, ideological
Wait, you're breaking up again. You're too far away from your
Oh
mic.
God, this trial has accomplished.
Bring it closer. Instead of you leaning in all crazy.
Interference. Okay, here.
All right, that's perfect.
This trial has accomplished what our enraged, paranoid, ideological fringe could not. A complete dismantling of the ideological breakdown that divided us politically. A complete dismantling of the ideological breakdown that has divided us politically? And the general public acceptance of a narrative created and controlled by bad actors and far-right extremists. Whoa.
So you guys, with your narratives and your lies, you're not dividing people. People watching people watching the trial are actually the ones dividing people.
This trial has accomplished what our enraged, paranoid, ideological fringe could not. Okay, wait. There's what's happening. Need to be. First of all, this trial has accomplished it. So you're saying the courtroom proceedings have accomplished something that all of these bad actors that you're using to discredit the courtroom proceedings have not. Are you you can't possibly be blaming the courtroom proceedings on these bad actors.
No, maybe she's saying it's brought them all together. Because that's the meme that I'm thinking of, is like the one with the Knights of the Round Table and all the swords.
No, that's not what she's saying.
No, but I mean, that's what's happened. Like, most people are pro Johnny Depp right now. And if they're paying attention.
This is a really telling.
Yeah.
This is a really telling statement, because this trial has accomplished what our enraged, paranoid, ideological could not. And the next sentence is what she thinks, or he thinks, the paranoid, enraged, ideological fringe wants to accomplish. A complete dismantling of the ideological breakdown that has divided us politically. This is really, really creepy.
Yeah.
Based on my reading, this individual is saying that all of the people that they hate have finally been able to dismantle the ideological breakdown that has divided us politically. Unless this person is completely incapable of following English grammar, she's against the dismantling of the ideological breakdown that divided us politically. So she's for it.
Yeah,
she's openly saying that she's for it. And that all of the people, all of the demons from, the deep web, or the dark web, the dark net, all of the demons, all of the elder gods emerging their tentacles from the dark net are responsible for bringing people together and bridging these ideological divides, which she wants.
Mm-hmm.
And they've created a general public acceptance of a narrative created and controlled by bad actors and far-right extremists. But here's the other thing, and just give me a moment to work this through in my mind. Again, I'm going in, so maybe I'll acquire another demon that'll have to be sneezed out. The trial has accomplished it. So not any of the bad actors that she cites, just the trial.
The existence of a trial.
The existence of this trial has led to a general public acceptance of a narrative created and controlled by bad actors. And that narrative created and controlled by us is apparently that male victims of domestic violence exist and women make false accusations.
And women are capable of being abusers themselves.
And women are capable of being abusers themselves.
Yep. That's
okay.
Yeah, that's her problem. All right, let me take the last two paragraphs. We're actually at the end here, so
3.
3? Oh yeah, the Depp Heard trial has refined the Gamergate playbook in a way that will haunt us for years to come. It has proven to extremists, Gamergate's totally extreme, that if you rally around the right beloved public figure or institution, blanket them in a protective sphere of outrage and misinformation, and weaponize fandom culture, already so prone to ideological radicalization and irrational groupthink, something that this woman is too smart to get involved in, you can successfully push whatever media narrative you want into the mainstream.
What media narrative is being pushed by this trial aside from domestic violence, false accusation. Women can make false accusations, and women can be abusers.
The trial should never have happened, I think, is what she believes. It would have been better if it didn't happen.
Literally, when you ask yourself, what is this person advocating for? They're advocating for a one-sided justice system in which a woman, well, the right woman, makes an allegation and a man is instantly unpersoned or vaporized.
Yep.
No pass go, no, go directly to jail. Okay, that's unbelievably unethical, as we have seen from this trial that Johnny Depp is going through. How does the Johnny Depp trial encourage anything about like anti-abortion or white supremacy or any of their horrible, specters? Doesn't do anything. The only media, so-called media narrative, is to strip away this idea that we should believe accusers instead of the evidence. Well, that's the way it always should have been.
Yep.
We should not believe accusers without evidence. I mean, sure, if you're their health care, like if you're their therapist, believe them. If you're their friends, believe and support them. But when you start to have the ability to act on the evidence to cause harm to another person, act on the allegation to cause harm to another person, you need evidence before you do that.
Yeah.
How is this this is common sense. This is just recognizing reality.
Reality is a right-wing conservative dog whistle.
Reality is a right-wing conspiracy, apparently.
Yeah, it's QAnon stuff. Reality? All right. So I got a super chat. I'm going to read it really quick. Richard B. Air gives us $4.99 and says, Alison, perhaps you could check the sensing pattern on your microphone. If you are speaking from outside its sensitive area, you can experience drops. That's what he says. Okay. So
I got to get really close. Maybe I need to keep my nose on the filter.
Yeah. Just don't be afraid to get intimate. Or maybe you don't need the filter. I don't think that you spit when you talk much. Maybe you don't need that. Okay.
The filter. This is without the filter.
Sounds about the same. I mean, it's not breaking up, so.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so I just need to not be squeaky when I talk and not sort of flail. Well, it's going to be very difficult for me because I'm a flailer.
Yeah, just try. That's okay. You got to do what you got to do. All right, here's the next paragraph. There's no coming back from this. The actual trial verdict is all but irrelevant now. It's not just that Amber Heard will forever be an imperfect accuser whose own volatile history was used to help destroy a revelatory moment in Me Too. It's that there will be other Amber Heards, and many of them will be marginalized with far fewer resources to withstand this onslaught of hate.
Why did you honestly, tying advocacy for female victims of domestic abuse to this movement, to the denial of evidence? Like if you are in a position to harm somebody with an allegation, you should have evidence. Tying female victims of abuse to all of this, that's unbelievable.
Yep. It is. I know.
People need to wake up and realize they don't care about female victims of abuse either.
Yeah.
Like they're saying, because Amber Heard, if Amber Heard doesn't, stop being called out by people who find her to be an abusive sociopath based on the evidence that they've seen, all female victims of domestic violence. Well, maybe because you put them in that situation, you took them hostage. Like you took civilian hostages, which happened to be female victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. And you said, if Amber Heard goes down, they go down too. Well, aren't you just a ray of sunshine? Aren't you a great advocate for women? God damn, I make a better advocate for women, and I'm a men's rights activist. You heard it here. You just use female victims because they're useful for your ends, but you don't care. You don't actually care about them. All it is about the narrative. And even if you go past the whole narrative around domestic violence and this idea that you should believe women and women are the victims, men are the perpetrators, go even deeper than that. The real problem of all of this is it's showing the media's ass. That's what this individual really hates. That people are starting to look at the evidence rather than just believing the media, which is what Gamergate was really about. It was all of the issues that we've had to face. Men's rights movement is really about, and the media portrayal of our movement.
Yep. That was like yeah, absolutely. It is the biggest fight. So.
Well, I mean, anybody who controls reality or controls perception of reality for a large portion of the population, they are the ones who rule. Period. Like, and media is totally unaccountable. It is unaccountable to the public. They're not voted in. No, in many cases we can't even vote for them with our money. Although I see Vox is
asking for support.
Asking for support. Well, we got one paragraph left.
All right, I'm going to finish it. It's not a coincidence that this spectacle is playing out against the backdrop of perpetually escalating racist violence and the rapid erosion of decades of human rights for women, queer, and trans people.
Oh, nonsense.
Nothing to do with anything that she's claiming. Nothing, but okay.
How are trans rights being eroded?
What does race have to do with it? Everyone involved in the trial is white. But
at some point, are these groups going to ever call these people out and say, "Hey, we're not your water carriers"?
I saw that. Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see. Again, we are operating on the internet, and I'm not really sure that most people are looking at stuff like this. But anyway, they're just trying. That's all they have is istophobe. It's literally all they have. They're istophobes. The Depp Heard trial has just trained millions of people to disregard or discard their own empathy, their own rational judgment, in exchange for the gleeful mockery, rejection, and belittlement of a woman making herself vulnerable in public. If you don't think that training will be weaponized against vulnerable targets, you haven't been paying attention. Women, be afraid. Be very afraid. This is going to get you killed.
Yeah, this is it. This is the manipulation.
Yep.
This is the manipulation. This is the payload and what they're doing. Because I've seen this time and time again. You sell something by selling women fear, and it works with women because women tend to be worse than men. This will probably just bounce off men, but women are like, oh, it's horrible. It is actually a manipulative abuse of women. And don't talk to me about disregarding your empathy. How can you listen to those recordings of what Heard did to Depp and not find them stomach turning? Like, how do you turn off your empathy, Fox? How do you turn it off for men? How do you turn it off for all of the women who have listened to those themselves being survivors of domestic violence or victims of domestic violence and see themselves in what Depp endured? How do you turn it off for them?
Yeah.
How do you turn it off for Amber Heard's female victim, like her female partner who was abused by her? How do you do that? You do it with a narrative. And finally, part of that narrative is colliding with reality. And if they say suspending their own rational judgment, they are coming to their own conclusions based on a public trial. That's what's happening.
Yep.
Even you have to concede that Amber has a history of use. Even you have to concede that Depp doesn't look like the kind of person, doesn't have a history that she does. I mean, you do it very, 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 you lightly tap on it and you only allude to it, but it's there. Because reality is staring you in your face and you at least have to acknowledge it. Otherwise, nobody's going to believe a word you say. And yet, at the same time, as you say this, you insist.
Wait, Alison, you dropped. I can't hear you right now. You do something? I can't hear you. She may have disconnected her microphone. Okay. What did you do? Did it get unplugged? Maybe you knocked it? Alison has disappeared. She'll be back. Wait until she comes back. So, I got another, no, I already, oh yeah, now I can hear you. Wait. Started talking again or making noise. Silenced. She may have accidentally, like, knocked her thing or hit a button or something. Give her a second to come back. Oh. Coming back? I can't hear you if you're talking.
I have a secondary.
Oh, okay. What happened?
I'm not sure. Like,
okay. Well,
the only thing that happened was the Shure microphone bump, and now it is.
Yeah, you may have to talk more close to the mic you're using because it's breaking up, and also your camera's not on.
Yeah, I know. I'm giving up on that for now.
All right. Well, we may as well just wrap it up then. But go.
Yeah, let's wrap
it
up.
To finish your thought or what?
No, just that I just find it unbelievable. Individuals appealing to with empathy and rational judgment.
Yeah. Well, of course, because they want to gaslight. It's all about gas.
Any empathy for men at all?
No. It's all about gaslighting and keeping you away from the truth. Men's rights activists would, like any people who actually cared about human rights, would allow MRAs to be part of the conversation, but they don't. At all costs, they don't, because we will want to operate from a position of what is true. And they can't stand that. They can't have that. They have to control what is true by gaslighting us about reality, telling us what reality actually is, and keeping people away from the truth. Isolate you from the truth. They don't want that. So otherwise, this Depp Heard, honestly, this Depp Heard thing, if we lived in like, you know, a society that actually like treated men and women the same in like a legal sense, there'd be no story. Like no one would be talking about it. There would be no like memes everywhere. There wouldn't be any of this because we would all be like, yeah, sure, this is believable. And everyone would just move on. The reason why this is of particular interest to people who are curious about how this will end, and people like the folks over at Vox and Vogue that want to do whatever they can to suppress what might come from this, is that it is, you know, something that is anathema to what they think we're supposed to believe about domestic violence, about the relationship between men and women, about all of that. So they have to stop it because it's literally threatening their jobs. It's threatening their livelihood. And I hope that we're, you know, I think we're going in the right direction. So, anyway, Alison, are you back? I see that you're in here.
Yeah, I'm not. I have no idea why this just completely crapped out. Like the Shure microphone is no longer working. I don't know why.
You may have.
Anyway.
Maybe I was gonna say maybe you need to like after this is over, you know, like unplug it, plug it back in, restart the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe see if it needs an update.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'll figure it out. Maybe something's wrong with the core. Regardless, okay, so this is let's move on to the business. So we are doing our monthly fundraiser. It's at feedthebadger.com/project/badger-media-blitz. Please do put a few shekels in the hat. Every little bit helps. $5, $10, very much appreciated. Make sure we can continue to bring you this content, which is quite unique, I think, on the internet, because we make the connection between recognizing issues that men face and the general health of society. Because guess what? If you don't care about men's vulnerabilities, you don't care about the problems that men have, and you don't care to help them when they have problems, you're throwing away half the human race. That's not a sustainable long-term strategy. Okay?
Yep.
All right. So if you would like to support that message, please go to feedthebadger.com/project/badger-media-blitz. And if you would like to send us a comment with that support, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip, and we will read that out on the next stream. All right, back to you, Brian.
All right. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please smash like or give it the equivalent on whatever streaming platform you might be on. Rumble, Facebook, Twitter. I believe we're on, what's the one? DLive. Some people have asked if we can get on Odyssey. We can look into it, and maybe we'll stream there, because I hear that Odyssey might have a better user interface. I don't know. But anyway, if you guys like that video, please give us some support by giving us a +1 or a like. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Again, I already mentioned some of the places where you'll find this content. Hit the bell for notifications if you're on YouTube. And most importantly, share this video. Sharing is caring, and it's the best way to help our channel grow if you can't, give us other forms of support. Thank you guys so much. I look forward to seeing your comments under today's stream. There is a link to the original article in the description, so you can look at it yourself. And we will talk to you guys in the next video. Have a good one, everybody.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.